just doing it. We're going. It's happening.
What's happening?
This is On the Stick 31 Nights of 4 Games. I'm Joe.
Hey, Joe.
That's Eric. He's in bed already.
I'm in bed,
Where I
baby.
should be, probably.
Streaming from bed, living the life.
That's right.
What are you playing?
I am playing Castlevania Bloodlines.
Oh.
And because I'm finishing editing a video about a different Castlevania game, I'm going to play this game until I lose all my lives the first time, and then that's it. I'm done. Now, I have played this game a fair amount, so I'm hoping to get at least a half hour out of that.
Okay.
If I've suddenly become a scrub, maybe that won't happen. But
You picked the easy guy, so...
I mean, I don't know that either one of them makes the game a lot harder. I just like playing as Eric because he
It's got a really awesome name.
has a really awesome name. That's right.
He can do a cool jump.
He's got a cool pole vault. He's got a down thrust where he like flattens himself out in a weird way. He can do this spin move. I love the spin move. It's not super useful unless there's an enemy shooting a bunch of projectiles at you, but it's fun to do.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have a whip, so
It's true.
when he plays him, it's not actually a Castlevania game.
I mean, does that mean Symphony of the Night is not actually a Castlevania game?
Kind of. It's a Symphony of the Night game.
Is there actually a whip anywhere in? I'm trying to
I-
think.
There is in some of the other ones, but I don't know if there
Yeah, I
isn't.
know.
I mean, you play it with his face, and he has a whip.
Right, you can play as Richter, and he's got a whip.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's where I got the special power up, which means don't get a different power up and don't get hit, because my spear won't be on fire anymore if I.
Or
This
you
is-
can just make 3 shots in a row and get it back pretty easily.
I mean, I think it's harder than that.
Well, you just have to make 3 baskets in a row, and then...
Right, then you're on fire. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I got hit by some of the breaking glass, so. Oh well. That's really hard to avoid. It's really hard to not take a hit during that fight.
Could you damage that? Like, break it before it hits you?
I don't think you can break the glass before it hits you. I think you just have to try to avoid it. Or I guess you could pole vault into it, because the pole vault, like, does damage.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever tried, because it's never been, like...
Try doing your spinny spear thing, maybe.
Yeah. This was, I think, the very first... I could be wrong, I guess. Maybe Super Castlevania did it, but I don't think so. This is the first Castlevania game that indicates by the candle if there's an item in it, or just, like, points or more sub-weapon energy.
Yeah.
The single candles have sub-weapons, and the double candles have just, like, regular pickup. So you can avoid... If you have a sub-weapon that you like, you can avoid accidentally picking up another one by just not hitting the single candles.
I mean, the better way to do it is just to do what Rondo does and have you dump the one you didn't want on the
Right.
ground, so you can
So you can pick it up if you accidentally.
you can
grab
yeah
it.
you can
As
change
long as
it
it
if you
doesn't,
want.
like, fall down a pit or whatever. Let's stick with the holy water, actually.
Can't remember what the first boss in this one is.
It's the knight. It's like a segmented knight who's made
Oh,
up of, like,
right.
multiple sprites.
It's one of the dopey looking robot bosses.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think he's supposed to be a robot. I think he's supposed to be a Clockwork Knight, I guess, to reference a different Sega game.
Listen, robots can be made out of many different things.
I mean, that's true. You're not wrong about that. There are many things you can
Maybe
make.
it's not a robot, it's an automaton.
I think it's supposed to be haunted armor. I think that's really supposed to be the thing. There's a ghost in there.
Uh-huh. Well, that's pretty spooky.
Anyways, you're going to see it in a second. I'm almost there, so...
The second one is the water guy, and then the dragon, right?
Stage 2 is the... Yeah, stage 2 is the... Well, no, he's one of...
Oh, no, it's like a big
bosses,
thing.
But it's it's the golem when you go underground after you...
Oh, right, the mop monster.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. So now I got the flaming spear back anyway, so... This is the first actual stage boss coming here.
The Swiffer guy. I don't... That's my biggest problem with this game. It's just that the bosses are all real dumb.
I thought your biggest problem was the masturbating Segway Knight.
I mean, that's also... I mean, that's not a problem.
Or that's your favorite part.
Yeah. No. I just... A lot of the level design in this game's kind of a little flat, but... Still pretty alright Castlevania.
Oh, I actually think the level design is pretty good in this one. Some of it is just like long hallways with full of monsters, but there's also a lot of there's a branching
Versailles
path
is
here,
one of
and you can go up.
The Palace of Versailles is one of the worst.
That's the stage of
classic
the Segway Knight, right?
Yeah, that's the one that is just a long hallway with a bunch of dudes in it.
I mean, there's also a couple of those in Symphony of the Night, right? Like, there's a couple areas that are just long hallways.
Yeah, but that's a different type of video game.
That's a different problem.
That is the connective tissue that holds the big weird map together. There's no reason for this game. There's no cohesion to a map that you have to kind of work around, so there's no real reason for that to be like that in this.
Yeah. This is one of those really... the first time I played this and saw this, I was super impressed by it, right?
Pretty cool.
The thing that is, completely pedestrian and not at all impressive by today's standards, that if you played this game when it was new, you were like, holy shit, look at those reflections.
I think this is the one that has the weird level that's half.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
That you're standing in half the screen as scrolled or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean this game does have a lot of.
That's the trick to that one, is watch where your feet are, don't watch your body.
Yeah. This game does have a lot of clever gimmicks to it, but it's got the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Yeah, the Leaning Tower stage is super good. I think that's a really fun stage.
I actually think this mid-boss is one of the highlights also.
The water mage.
Yeah. Although he's a real dickhead if you don't have the... If you're playing as the other guy and don't have the long whip, it can be really tough, actually. Yeah, don't get rid of that holy water, because you're going to need that to stun-lock death.
That's right.
In the second to last level.
Death in this one is... Well, he's still
it's one of the easier death fights.
One of the easier death fights. Not Symphony of the Night easy. I did that earlier this evening. Fought Death in Symphony of the Night. And boy, he sure isn't very difficult, especially if you have the right gear for the situation. He's super not difficult, in fact. I got the cool fire spear and then immediately took a hit.
Mm-hmm. I think that just kind of doesn't show up very much later on.
It really doesn't. It doesn't usually show up that much this early. I think it's because I haven't taken a death yet.
Maybe.
But the more enemies the consecutive kills is part of what brings it around. without dying, and then that counter. I think that's what brings it around. He says as he then dies. Of course, that was going to happen. For some reason, I always have trouble with that knight, and I'm just so used to.
It's because the other one is way easier
way
to.
Easier, yeah. But I know the pattern. It's like wait
just
for it to
get
stuck in the ground, and then deal with it. And like I'm just for whatever reason not thinking. Birds. There we go.
Still get careless. It's always because, like, the other guy, you can just duck under his flail, but this guy, you have to actually space a little bit to not take damage from the axe.
Also, man, the music is super good. This was Michiru Yamane's first Castlevania as composer, and the music is super good.
Yeah, continuing the fine tradition of Castlevania games
Castlevania
with
music,
the music.
Super good. I feel like for the most part, even the games that are bad have music that is good. Like the Game Boy, like the first Game Boy one, which is like maybe the worst Castlevania. Like,
yeah,
the music is still super good. Boy, I could sure use some wall meat any second here.
I think you at least made it to the next checkpoint, right?
Yeah. Also, decapitating this statue was very impressive at the time because it rotates just ever so slightly, which is not something the Genesis hardware can do natively, so it's like, oh, fuck that.
Right in the toe.
Yep. See, this is where the spin move is handy.
As long as you time it right and don't get fireballed in the back, I guess. What are those red guys supposed to be? Is it just a guy wearing a helmet?
I mean, their skin is red, so they're kind of hunched over.
Sunburned.
Like goblins or trolls or something. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's not great.
scrub tonight.
At least got to kill the Swiffer. Really, one of the all-time dumb Castlevania bosses.
I mean, I feel like a lot of those are in this particular game.
Oh yeah.
Even though the masturbating Segway Knight is not a boss, it's still, you know.
I mean, he's a boss. You know what I mean?
I think I want to have the boomerang as optimal for this fight, if memory serves.
Thought it was Sasha Banks, but really it was masturbating Segway Knight.
Masturbating Segway Knight the whole time.
Amphibious Minotaurs.
Yeah, right.
There he is, soaking up all the water. I guess it's a good thing he's down there.
No. Yeah, I got him. He's been
I was
swift.
gonna say, do not die to the Swiffer Golem.
I'm gonna call him that all the time now. This is the Swiffer Golem.
Listen. He's down there soaking up all that water, and then when you kill the water shaman or whatever the hell that mid boss is, and there's no more rain, then that's what happens to it.
I guess. Rhinonar wants to know if we like the Kingdom Hearts games, and for my part, no, sure don't.
I played through Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 back in the day, and I had an okay time, but I don't really have any interest in them anymore.
I didn't even get through the Alice in Wonderland segment of the first Kingdom Hearts. I thought it was like extremely just okay. Because like I wanted to like visit all these Disney worlds and like do all this stuff, but like there's this really stupid overarching story about like fucking Cloud and whatever the fuck is going on that I was just like super Squall is there for some reason. And I was just like,
I mean, that's not the stuff that's not the stuff that's bad. That's like, that stuff is kind of ancillary. It's all the Xeno arts and all the
but like at the beginning,
the stuff that's not related to Final Fantasy or
to
Disney, yeah.
But at the beginning, like it foists a bunch of the Final Fantasy stuff on you, and I was just like, I don't
that's
care.
not the that's the Kingdom Hearts stuff. That's not. There's like no actual Final Fantasy stuff in Kingdom Hearts, really.
You can fight.
There's like some characters that show up, but they aren't. You don't do any like cool Final Fantasy stuff, or at least in the two that I played, and from what I know of the third one. And also, it's just like a mediocre character action game. So.
But like with a bunch of bullshit leveling tacked on. So
right. Well, like the level designs are just really like sometimes they look cool, but they're pretty boring a lot of times.
Yeah. He also wants to know if Nightmare Creatures is going to be one of the games we play this month. And
I think we played that before, didn't I?
Like
or maybe I didn't get that working. I don't know.
We're skating pretty close to the end of the month here, so... Shit. I don't know that we're in a position to make promises about specific games. And there we go.
Not a good game.
That was only 20 minutes. That feels like too short. I guess I'll continue once. I thought I would get a half hour out of that. I thought I was less of a scrub than I apparently am, so... You know, game's throwing a bunch of shit at you and it slows down a Sega Genesis. Okay. Am I just making this harder on myself? Like, what the fuck am I... Oh, I'm just supposed to walk off the screen there. Okay, great. It's apparently been a minute since I played this game, so... Yeah, and like the other thing about Kingdom Hearts is like at this point, if I wanted to get back into it, I feel like there's so much fucking bullshit lore that I would have to like read learn somehow.
I did check out the demo of 3, and it's still not really that much fun to play. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could ignore all that if it was just like a fun traipse through a bunch of like third-person action platforming stuff in Disney settings, and then you could ignore the rest of it. But it doesn't seem like the combat's not particularly interesting. And yeah, like I said, Final Fantasy VII is where they finally figured out how to do that hybrid action turn-based combat stuff.
Yeah, I actually still haven't checked out the new Final Fantasy VII. Do that.
Or at least they've figured it out to my satisfaction. A lot of it has to do with the character switching stuff. When you're only playing as Cloud, it's not that interesting, but once you can like flip between Cloud and Tifa and Barret, it gets pretty fun.
Crisis Core is like my favorite Final Fantasy VII thing so far, and I've heard that this is like kind of similar to that, so...
I had a really good time. Like I said, probably still my game of the year so far this year.
I'm kind of surprised you haven't become like a junkie for Spelunky 2. Is it just not as good as you hoped, or like...
I mean, it's just not as good as Hades.
That's fair.
I mean, also, I didn't play a lot of Spelunky either until a few years after the fact, so... and also, supposedly, Derek Hughes gonna fine-tune the first level, which is just... The first level is, like, brutally hard and a kind of a grind to get through, and it just doesn't... It makes the game not that much fun to play,
Spelunky,
honestly.
Eric's Game of the Year 2025.
Yeah,
Spelunky
maybe.
2,
Because I played Spelunky a lot in, like, 2014 or 2015 or something like that, which was quite a bit after it came out.
Was that after the original version came out, or after? Because there was like a free version originally. That was
that's the Flash thing. That's much older. I'm talking about the when people say Spelunky, they mean the Xbox 360 one. Yeah.
When did that come out?
2010, 2011, something like that. 2012 maybe. But like by the time I played it, most of the secrets had been kind of figured out also, because just playing from start to finish of that, like playing through the 4 levels, really isn't that interesting. But when you're doing all the secret stuff, it feels kind of subversive. And so I'll be more interested, I think, in 2 when I have like that kind of end goal in mind, rather than just trying to get to the end of it. But also, like I said, I got a real good roguelite type game in my life right now, and it's Hades.
Hades is fucking fantastic. That's part of the reason I want to finish editing this fucking video tonight, so that I can, like, guilt-free play Hades for a while. Because Hades is fucking fantastic. There's part of me that's still kind of mad at myself for not playing it right away, even though I bought it, but, like, sometimes early access
I think you're alright, yeah.
A little weird, and plus, like, I mean, I mostly bought it because you were like, it's pretty good, and I was like, well, it's going to go up in price once it leaves early access, so I guess I may as well just, like, buy it now. So
did you get it for 15 when it was?
I think I might have even gotten it for 5 because I used, like, an Epic Store coupon on it when it was, like, brand new in early access.
Yeah. Because I got it when it was on sale, like, spring of last year or whatever, or not spring, it would have been like January or February, I think, whenever the Epic Store came out. It was one of the first things that was on there.
Things on the Epic Store, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was good back then. It just, they added a lot more stuff to it, and the run variety is one of the most important things in that type of game, so.
Again, keeping with the theme, this was really, really fucking impressive when it was new.
Yeah.
I feel like the people who made this game for Konami were just like, we're gonna throw every technical trick, every ridiculous thing.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's a kind of a showcase, the same way that Super Castlevania 4 is kind of a showcase for
but this
some
game
of the
came
weird
out,
tricks the
5
Super
years
Nintendo can do.
after the this is like 5 years after the Genesis came out.
Yeah. Which is why it's probably a better game than Castlevania 4. I don't know. They're pretty close, I like them both, in my opinion.
I like this one more, I think, than Super
I don't know.
Castlevania 4.
It's tough. I think both games are, like, okay but flawed.
I mean, neither of them is as good as Rondo of Blood, probably.
Well, I mean, no Castlevania game is as good as Rondo of Blood. And, like, there's not many 2D action platform games that are as good as Rondo of Blood. Period. It's like one of the best of those.
Yeah, it's true.
That is also like the Castlevania game that is like the toughest but fairest.
Oh, fuck off.
You knocked off the edge?
I got knocked off the edge.
Yeah. That kind of looked like you should have went the other way, honestly.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Yeah, I think that that's, aside from the Versailles level, just like the boss encounters in this game are just not up to Castlevania snuff.
I mean, I think it depends on the Castlevania game. I think some of these are pretty good in terms of like, interesting strategies. Fuck that. Not this one, but yeah. All right, that's the second game over, and we're just about the half-hour mark. But there's more stuff in the chat before I go. Rhinonar says, "Do you hate slowdown in video games?" I mean, I don't know. Depends on the game, I suppose. I'm not like offended by it.
Sometimes it helps, man.
Sometimes it helps. It's a thing where, like, if the game, if it's egregious, like I just did a video about Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen for the PS1, and especially considering the hardware, like, holy shit, that game slows down all the fucking time. Where it's like, you're just playing the whole game in slow-mo, and it's just, like, it's worse than Gradius 3. It's just like, what the hell, man? Like, get it together. Get it together,
I mean, it depends, like, I would take, a lot of times I would take, like, classic game slowdown over, like, bad modern game frame rate drops.
Skipping and frame drops are... that's,
like,
old slowdown is better than that, for sure. Absolutely.
But then, it's a case-by-case scenario. That's all. But I'd rather have some slowdown than, like, a 10 frame rate game experience or whatever.
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
Like a Dark Souls on Xbox 360 type experience. But obviously everybody feels differently about those sorts of things. So
I don't know why the stage turns when he moves. That's the anyways. Right on our 14.
It doesn't really mean anything. It's just like it's visually distracting.
Well, but you move on the thing without moving.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're fighting him from his perspective, which is weird.
Yeah.
And so when he's bouncing around, he like is just kind of automatically moving to where you are, which
I have a feeling that's like a technological
to make
I don't
the
know why
effect
it does
work.
that.
That was what,
yeah.
That's what they had to do, maybe. Renanar asks if Castlevania 64 is bad. I played it when it was new.
I feel like Renanar has asked us this question before,
I
but
feel like this question's come in before from him.
It is bad,
I played it when it was new and it was bad.
Yeah.
I've heard the second one is not bad, but I haven't played it to verify that for myself. So
I had a friend who rented Castlevania 64 and Quest 64, and
Quest 64.
Like, these games both got bad reviews. The Nintendo Power. Why did you do this? And then he was obsessed with both of them and played them to completion. So, fuck, man, I don't know.
Yeah. G Lake says, "Hey man, I'm listening to Ozzy and Fear Factory right now and watching you Totally Halloween. Also love Bloodlines on the Genesis. BTW, are you into Fear Factory?"
I was gonna say, which depends on the Fear Factory.
Depends on the album. Yeah. My wife likes them more than I do. I'm pretty much like I'm in the demanufacturer wheelhouse, and like kind of once you get away from that, the further away you get from demanufacturer, the less into them I am.
There was
my wife
a
likes
comeback album right after Strapping Young Lad went defunct for the second time. Jed Simon joined Fear Factory, and I thought that album was pretty alright also.
Which one is that?
But I don't remember the title.
Cat, please stop distracting.
It was like 03, 04, probably. I don't know. Fear Factory's alright. I'm more of a, like I said, like I like Strapping Young Lad a whole lot, which is like an evolutionary
if they're
version of Fear Factory that is much heavier and more intense. I've been listening to the latest Anal Nathrak album a lot lately, which is like digital metal, sort of like Fear Factory, but also it's like black metal and grindcore instead of groove metal. So
that sounds worse to me, honestly.
But no, Anal Nathrak's really good. That new album's real good.
What was that band that Perturbator did a remix of one of their songs like earlier this year?
I don't know.
Another send me the link.
Like cyber metal something or other. I mean, there's a band called Veridhammer that put out an album this year that is kind of Fear Factory Strapping Young Lad adjacent that I had a good time with. Back in the day, like Samael, I thought they were pretty dope. They're like more like cyber black metal kind of stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Fear Factory's alright. There's just like I only have like there's like a handful of like groove-ish metal albums that I think are dope, and I think Demanufacturers definitely. It's like Prongs Cleansing and that album and a couple Machine Head albums or whatever. Snap your finger, snap your neck, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
For sure.
But anyway, yeah.
Ryan wants to know if you're into Iron Maiden.
I mean, yes.
Iron Maiden. It depends on the album, I think. Depends on who's
singing. I think Hallowed Be Thy Name is probably the best metal album or song, period. I think that you could make a strong argument for Hallowed Be Thy Name being the best, and Kurt agrees with me, so that it's at least in the conversation. And I think I honestly I'm a seventh son of a seventh son guy, so I don't know if you can trust me exactly or not, but I think that's one of the finest front to back metal albums of all time. So
fuck.
And also, there's just a lot of amazing songs on all their albums,
Right.
or at least all of the first run. I don't really like the post Bruce Dickinson stuff, or the Paul Di'Anno stuff. Is like some of that's all right. Tomorrow, pretty dope, but
I don't know that you can. I think for me, it would be very hard to declare any particular song to be the best, like, singular. God damn, I hate these Pistons.
I mean, right.
You know, that's.
I know,
hard.
but Hallowed Be Thy Name. You know, sure, let's do it.
Yeah. So I said I was going to play until I lost my first continue, but actually now I'm out of continues, so now I'm definitely done for.
That's another one of the big problems with this game.
Yeah. Well, you can use there's a password system that just sends you back to the beginning of a stage instead of picking up the checkpoint. Before I log off, there's a couple.
Yeah, but you don't get the continues back.
G Lake says strapping is really avant-garde metal, but from Vancouver, Canada. Very cool, but an acquired taste. I'm in Ontario, so Canadian pride. Jesse.
Yeah,
Leopard
Devin Townsend,
says,
man. I love Devin Townsend.
Jesse Leopard says, sweet to catch one of your streams. The dumb algorithm hasn't been showing me your vids lately. Ring the bell, man. Hit that stupid bell that they added.
Turn your stupid notifications
then
on.
you get a notification. Yeah. Do it for this channel and do it for the same name, different game channel, and you'll get a notification whenever new video goes up. And a new video on the same name, different game channel is going up on Friday, and it's going to be about a different Castlevania game, so look forward to that. And we'll be back tomorrow night with something. I'm going to try to make it up, because I'm going to finish editing this video and be fucking done with it, and then tomorrow
You've been working on that thing forever, dude.
I know. Yeah, dude, it's almost like making a 25-minute video takes a long time.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you just did.
I know.
It took you about 25 minutes.
Yeah, right. But I don't know. I'm thinking, I was talking to Mike about trying to get myself to a place where I can do 1cc of Ghouls and Ghosts, and I might try to do that tomorrow. That might be my evening plans for tomorrow, since this video is going to be done by the time I'm go to bed tonight. So yeah, we're out of here, but we'll be back tomorrow with something else, and then we'll be back on Wednesday with probably more Left 4 Dead 2.
I don't know. Yeah, either that or GTFO, I guess.
Yeah.
I'd be down to play just more Left 4 Dead 2. That game's super fun.
So good. Anyways, that's it for tonight. Night, everybody.
Bye.